Welcome to Top 10 Archive. In this video, we're going to look at a film franchise that, after 30 years in existence, is still going strong. A lot is known about the Ghostbusters franchise, but like every production, there are little tidbits of information that the general public isn't quite privy to. In this Top 10 list, we will look at some of those facts about the Ghostbusters universe. Number 10. Ghostbusters lore continues in a comic book. Though the Ghostbusters cinematic experience ended with the vanquishing of Vigo, the adventures of the original quarter actually still lives on today in a long-running series of comic books published by IDW. Plenty of lore from the original two films finds its way into the comic book series, as well as some familiar living and ectoplasmic faces. Fans of the film will have no problem diving into this 20-plus issue spread, available in 9 different volumes or 1 hardcover collection. Number 9. Ghostbusters was inspired by Dan Ackroyd's life experiences. Speculation on the existence of ghosts is a hot topic today, but it was a no-brainer in young Dan Ackroyd's household. His great-grandfather, Samuel Augustus Aykroyd, corresponded frequently with big-name players in the spiritualist movement. Aykroyd's father, Peter Ackroyd, chronicled the family's history and the rise of spiritualism in A History of Ghosts. In his foreword in the book, Dan Ackroyd, who conceptualized the idea of Ghostbusters, attributed his family's history to the creation of the idea. Number 8. Gozer was originally a man. Winston Zeddemore wasn't entirely wrong in assuming Gozer was a man. The original idea had the evil deity designed as a simple man in a suit. The final product of the androgynous David Bowie-looking figure was decided upon after director Ivan Reitman found the original idea to be too conventional. Another concept would have Gozer take the form of Ivo Shandor, the Gozer worshipper referenced in the prison scene. Shandor would have been played by Paul Rubens. The final role of Gozer was eventually given to Slavica Jovan, a former Serbian model, with Patty Edwards providing the voice. Number 7. Stay Puft was originally Gozer's second form. The happy-go-lucky design we received of Stay Puft Marshmallow Man was initially intended to be Gozer's second form. A third and final form would have the god increase in size and, according to the concept art from Making Ghostbusters, morph into a terrifying skeletal creature. The design would be a complete detachment from the film's lighthearted nature, possibly proving a bit too scary for the intended audience. Number 6. Ghostbusters was originally about time travel. Many movies go through conceptual changes, Ghostbusters not being any different. Originally, the film, then titled Ghost Smashers, was to follow the heroes across time and dimensions. A lot of Ghostbusters concepts, such as Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, Zool, the Containment Unit, and Ivo Shandor, were present in the original Ghost Smashers script, albeit as different variations. Shandor was the Ghost Smashers' employer, and the Containment Unit was located in a Sunoco station in New Jersey. Aykroyd eventually scrapped this script to collaborate with Harold Ramis on Ghostbusters. Number 5. Librarian was originally more terrifying. The Librarian ghost, later named Eleanor Twitty in Ghostbusters the video game, was originally conceptualized as a far more grotesque spirit. Though the final design would still feature terrifying features, the original puppet was rejected for being too disgusting. So disgusting, in fact, that it was apparently fit enough for the 1985 version of Fright Night, another Columbia Pictures film. Rumor has it that the puppet was used for the bat at the end of the film. Number 4. Bill Murray and Dan Ackroyd were to cameo as bums. Anyone that remembers Bill Murray's part in Caddyshack would be tickled to know that Peter Venkman was not the actor's only role in Ghostbusters. Originally, he and Dan Ackroyd were shot portraying two bums, completely different characters than their ghost hunting counterparts. The shots were filmed, but stricken from the final product. Number 3. The voice actor for Vigo the Carpathian is not the physical actor. Much like Gozer, Ghostbusters 2's antagonist, Vigo the Carpathian, was brought to life by two different actors. The story here, though, is a little more scandalous than the switch in the original Ghostbusters. Vigo's actor, Wilhelm von Hamburg, had originally spoken all of the Spectre's lines for the role, assuming that when he went to screen the movie, it would be his vocals attached to the character. Unbeknownst to him, though, the dialogue was dubbed over by voice actor Max von Sydow. Upon Wilhelm's viewing of the film, he stormed out after hearing his voice had been replaced. Number 2. Proton Packs were initially designed to be much smaller. According to the original designs of the classic Proton Pack attached to Ghost Smashers, the Ghostbusters were able to move freely as the concept was much smaller and far more compact. Rather than the Neutrona wand seen in the finished film, the Ghostbusters were originally supposed to be able to palm the apparatus, which would be connected to a much smaller unit worn on their backs. The Busters would then be able to hold two wands, and trapping would involve more of a grid, like the one seen in Ghostbusters 2 during the montage. Number 1. Ghostbusters, the video game, was canceled prior to being picked back up by Atari. Ghostbusters, the video game, was originally going to be a completely different experience. Early concept art had the boys in tan carrying completely upgraded versions of the classic Proton Pack. The prototype gameplay seemed to take on a style more akin to a third-person action shooter like Gears of War, and was to feature segments where gamers would drive a redesigned Ecto-1. The development of this iteration was helmed by Zootfly until the game was canned, and eventually handed off to Atari for a concept much more true to the history of the franchise. Like these top 10 videos? Subscribe by clicking the annotation here, and give our video a like. Have an idea for a future top 10? Leave a comment in the section below,